And happy Saturday, everyone. Y'all missed a great dance by James just a second ago while we were playing our opening credits. I mean, what can we say? It's good music. Nothing more to be said about that.
Yeah, he doesn't tell us. He just starts it, whether we know it or not. He just goes, "Here we go."
Pretty
I love
much.
it.
Oh, that's the way
I
you
love
do
it.
Yeah.
But
Surprise!
we're definitely here with James Chisholm and Jerry Schaefer, and they'll be talking about Eastern Rim, and we might get a little bit into NerdCon a little bit later, but Eastern Rim has made some huge announcements that we definitely want to get into. So we will definitely be talking about that. And I know poor people at Twitch missed us on Thursday because there's no way to even upload that yet.
Anubis! I'm so sorry, Anubis. I missed you in our drinking session. It's okay. We can hit it up
he
tonight.
would have been
It's all
fun
right.
for the king too. That would have been interesting.
I love Anubis. Anubis, I love you, man. I do.
He's probably not even on just yet, but you
No,
never
right?
know.
Very well.
That's okay. I will say it again when he comes on. It's just that's how we roll. That's
He'll
how
come
we
in
roll.
singing because one of them he popped in and said, "Hello, is this me you're looking for?" And I'm like, "There's Anubis."
There we go. But anyway, definitely want to talk about Eastern Rim, which I believe is September 12th and 13th.
No, 11th and 13th.
11th and 12th.
It's 11th and 12th. Yeah.
Oh my
My
God,
days are
11 and 13. Those don't even go together.
We're going extra.
We're just skipping the day in between it. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, no, we're just adding on. It's the after party.
There we go. So Saturday's
We're living in a
party.
Star Trek universe where we just work to one day.
Right.
There's no
We
concept.
have,
of
over.
time.
I don't know if you guys know, over in Nerdfest, this has been time travel week. So I think that's what was inspiring Jerry there.
Absolutely.
So
There we go. That's the main thing. Inspiration. So, inspiration. Let's talk about the guests that are going to be inspiring us at Eastern Rim.
Absolutely. Well, we have released somebody today. It is Mark Nelson of Aliens fame. He was the first person to put in the paper for the actual Aliens creatures in Dark Horse Comics, and I believe it was 87. I mean, absolutely terrific artist. I mean, like, he's an artist's artist. People know him and love him, and people, he's international, like all over the world, and the art that he creates is literally out of this world. It is completely and utterly out of this world. If you look up anything Mark Nelson artist, anything that he does is completely and totally something that most people can't even imagine a tenth of what he does. He's just the most terrific artist, and he's actually the artist for our promo material. I mean,
Oh, cool.
and not to mention he's a teacher, he's a gentleman, he's a scholar, and he's a terrific guy. I mean, funny, the best guy ever, and great artist to boot. So, I highly recommend y'all checking him out when you go to Eastern Rim, because he's just terrific, the best.
So, what other guests are they in store for at Eastern Rim?
Okay, so what we've released so far, we have Nick Patera. He worked on a bunch of really cool stuff like the Manhattan Projects and Red Wing, and he did Rocksteady and Bebop for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He worked on the Incredible Hulk here recently, just a bunch of really cool stuff. And Nick is also, he was going to be a teacher. What occurred is that the comic thing sort of came first. Like, literally, he was going to accept being a teacher the following day, and the thing to become a comic artist just really dropped in his lap, and so he just kind of went with that. And actually,
let me say, he was probably incredibly disappointed because everybody's like, "Oh my God, I have to take a comic artist job instead of being a teacher."
Well, I mean, it's his dream and everything, but honestly, he's a terrific teacher. That's what I was actually going to get to, James. The guy is a tremendous teacher. I've watched him teach kids. Like they come to his table and he's okay. Here, let me show you how to draw. It's this and this and this and this. And he's actually going to have one of those, one of our sessions for drawing, one of our panels. And man, everyone who went to it, and we had kids, we had adults, we had folks in their 70s. They all left super satisfied and super happy. And he gives them like extra pins and all kinds of stuff. Great guy.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
No, it was just very nice. But you had other guests that you were fixing to announce.
I think what he's saying is we only have 60 minutes, Jerry. I think that's
No, I got you. Hey man, I gotta sell my guest, guy.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
If
So,
you would, I would. There's
so
one guest I
basically-
would appreciate if you let me announce though. There's the one guy.
I'm sorry.
was the one guy I
are
heard you'll say from me.
Are you talking about the guy who we've previously met before together?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and do that right now?
I was gonna say you got my like anticipation going, so you kind of have to now.
So, oh my God, this particular guy, you will not believe. You're going to be like, oh my God, how did they get that guy? And that is anime superstar from season 7 of One Piece, Tom McKee. You may remember him from his famous line, "Don't shove me back in the ground, you jackass." Tom McKee is a great voice actor. He's a really cool dude, and he's been on a lot of stuff with us. So I wanted to give a shout out to Tom because Tom is so awesome, and he has such respect for Jerry and what Jerry does that he said, "Jerry, dude, I want to be a part of Eastern Rim because that's and like I think everybody who knows Eastern Rim is a big comic book focused show. I mean, of course we draw fans from anime, we draw fans from pop culture, but it's you know it is a comic book focused show." But Tom saw how much Jerry puts in and how much work he did with NerdCon, and he's like, you know what, Jerry, make me part of your show. I want to be a part of whatever you're doing. And Tom is a great guest, and he's really cool with people. So thank you so much for allowing me to say that, Jerry. I really
you have to love it when a guest comes to you and says, "I want to be on your show," instead of you having to approach them. That makes your job just a little bit easier.
The guests that I reach out to come back to me and they approach me with restraining orders. So the fact that Tom had that much love and respect for Jerry says so much. And he did. He was all on board.
Well, Tom, cool. Like I said, Tom is a great guy. He's awesome. He's very personable with the guests. And, he was at NerdCon last year and, really cinched up, a relationship with both of us in terms of not just being, directors of cons, but also, just a friend, and he's also been on with you, James, on some of the broadcasts you've done or whatever. Tell him about that one.
Yeah. It's seen by tens of people.
Tens of people.
Tens of people. That might be an overreach, but and keep in mind, less than 20 is still tens of people. No, we've done the bad movie trailers. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I'm guessing by the complete look of dismay on your face, you have not. But
I'm a member of NerdFest. I've seen them.
Okay, thank you for bailing me out of this. We've done that show. Jerry's been on plenty of times. Like, yes. Let's be completely honest. Like, you can't find me and not have Jerry like 5 feet away.
Yeah, at the very least.
We're like this.
Well, technically, in here, you're like this. So
we are like this. We are like this. You know what? Like, I'm starting to think I'm Robin because, like, sometimes people will call Jerry up to be on their show, and they'll be like, "Jerry, we want you on our show." And then sometimes they call us up together, but they never call me together. I'm Robin. I cannot go anywhere without Batman, but Batman can do stuff without me. So
I'm like, Jerry, can you be on our show? And by the way, go ahead and just have the other one back on. You can be the other one.
The guy that used to be fat but still hairy. Get that guy.
James, you are the nerd king, though. In quotes and everything.
Well, somebody did type that. Somebody did type that. So, but
so
also, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, being coordinators, both of you guys, what's your toughest part of your job? Because there is so many different elements that you guys have to cover. What's the toughest part of it?
You want to go first, James? Or you want me to go
for me, the toughest part of being a coordinator is learning when to step out of the way and say, "God, Jerry, rescue me."
I feel like that's what people say about me, James. So yes.
First off, every show that I've ever seen Amy on, Amy, oftentimes is the quiet one. But she's the one who's pushing all the buttons and making stuff happen. And that other show that you do, Amy, that we're not promoting here because this show is more important and more special. But I was like, these people are just carrying on a conversation, and poor Amy's just typing, and she's doing all the grunt work, and I'm like, that's.
I do the same here, man. I do the same here, and then every now and then I get to chime in. But I have my moments. My people.
I don't know, Amy. The last time the one with the Scary Dads, you were chiming in pretty well, and you were also chiming in.
Yeah.
That was her zone.
I was multitasking hardcore though. I'm not even gonna lie. I was sharing, buying tickets, trying to come up with questions and figure out what was going on. It was a hot mess. I had so many browsers open that night. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't have me start lagging. It was
how many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Okay,
So,
well there
Amy,
you go.
Let me ask you this
Well,
question.
hold on.
She's
Hold on,
the-
let me help you out. They're 13 months apart. So I actually have Irish twins, and they are every bit living up to that twins right now because I got to buy 2 of everything. So I'm
Did you
just
say
saying,
Irish twins?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what
How do you?
they're
Can you
called.
explain that to me? Do they just like to wear green and drink a lot of beer, or how does
Well,
that
you
work?
know, I wish, because that would be fantastic. But no,
Oh.
they're considered Irish twins because they are 13 months apart. So it's like, I don't know, they weren't born together, but they're so close together. They're considered that because they're going to grow up and be pretty much in the same grade.
But
So
Amy
they're like twins.
is also known as the conductor of the Hot Mess Express.
I am.
Yes.
Yes.
So I just want to float this idea out there, Amy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We are. I'm really considering bringing back NerdFest as a show, and
Okay.
I would like to have you like work with us, and I'll triple what you make from Greg.
Sold. Okay, sold.
Assuming that's 0, right?
You can
Yeah.
afford that. You can afford that, James. I can afford that.
No, man,
Break
just
it
reach out.
in.
Reach out to me, man. I'll help you out however I can. That's
All
what I
right.
do.
All right.
Yeah.
No, the toughest. No, God, there was a question there at the start. No,
What's the
I will
toughest
say,
part of being the coordinator of the entire event? Like,
you
what
know,
is
I think
the
the
biggest
toughest part for me personally, and Jerry will tell you, and full disclosure, I mean, Jerry is a wonderful, wonderful resource, and true story. When we planned the first NerdCon, I went and I met with the nice ladies at the library, and they're like, "Well, we're wanting to do this, and we're wanting to do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, we could do this," and then I'm like, "I think we can get this done in 3 weeks." And Jerry comes in, he's like, "No, what? Why are you even talking, James?" He's like, we're going to need at least 3 months. So the first NerdCon, I mean, we put together in about 4 months, but I just had a real unrealistic expectation of how quickly we could get this stuff done. And Jerry's like, "No, this is going to do this and this," and so, he is a wonderful resource, and he's all about the logistics. For me, the toughest part is, I come in with a lot of expectations. For me, customer service, customer engagement. I mean, our guests need to have a wonderful experience, and that's where I started from. I brought my son to my first Comic-Con, my wife, and there was a vendor there that really engaged with him, and it meant so much to us. And so, for me, it's making sure we have the right folks coming that not only bring great products, but bring great attitudes. And credit to Greg. Greg is always all on board, and he's super friendly and does wonderful. We actually had Amy's crew out at the previous NerdCon, and just wonderful. And Amy, Amy was amazing. She came in all dressed in her first cosplay. Way to go!
Looks something like
Lots
that.
of other Comic-Cons have had Amy, but we were the first.
You were, yes.
Yeah, so
You always
me,
remember your first con.
That's right. For me, I think the toughest part is also just kind of reining in my ideas, because I have a lot of crazy ideas and trying to execute them. So, I think that the hardest part is just not setting my expectations too high, and being realistic. And fortunately, like I say, Jerry's a great partner in that, and he gets so much accomplished. And I'm like the pretty like wrapping paper, but Jerry's the actual present. So,
Well, one thing I do want to compliment you guys on, especially for Eastern Rim stuff, is you guys are out there. Even months ago, you guys started putting some things out here and there, kind of putting little Easter eggs here and there. And then now each time you even made a frame for each of the artists. My sister and I are going to be there, hoping Super Hubby can join us, but maybe not. But, you're able to put out the guests out there, but not just the guests, but you also spotlight on the vendors as well. And so you make sure that there's always content. And so it's always floating around there. So people can't say, well, I never heard of it. Okay, if you haven't heard of it, then you're not on the planet. You're not on Facebook, because it's everywhere.
And
that's good.
And that's something that I think is really important to set, because the vendors are such a big part of the show. But girl, you should see if this wasn't a crazy pandemic year, like we would have been promoting Eastern Rim and NerdCon for 6 months. It would have been insane how much we did that. But getting back to the question, Jerry, you had thoughts.
Yeah, I do. Well, I just want to mention that I noticed that Amy has multiplied, and so she has a second version of herself growing right before our eyes. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Isn't she super cute?
That's just
Yeah,
one.
No
So
one's gonna go.
Yeah.
So
It's like
for
we're
me,
we're waiting to see if she's gonna stay that way.
No, she's not here. She just woke up from a nap, so I left my door unlocked. But Jerry, you were saying what's the hardest part for you?
not a problem. For me, honestly, like the first Eastern Rim, I wanted to do everything by myself, so I would know the ins and outs and what could happen, what might happen, what doesn't happen, that kind of a thing. And the thing about a Comic-Con when you're running it or running most of it is that it's a very it's a living thing. It's alive. It is moving, always changing and twisting and turning. And, you have to poke it with a stick and, get the fire and make it run into the castle. And then it's going to run out of the castle. It's going to squirm out of the window at the top of the tower. And it's going to come down and come after you. And then you're going to be friends. You're going to have tea and smoke a cigar. And then after that, he's going to say fire, bad. And, it's just literally, it's like an amoeba. It's like the thing, Carpenter's The Thing. It's everywhere all at once, and you're always having to think about this and that. And there's so many things that I can't do until this happens or until this happens. And so, the waiting and anticipating how it could go, especially during this time of year and this situation that we're in and everything. It's been just absolutely like nuts and crazy. And so, people have been dropping out, people have been coming in, and it's just the fact that you have to be everywhere at once. You're herding cats, herding lions, and that's probably the thing that challenges me the most. At the same time, though, it's like a really intricate and interesting puzzle that you have to work out. And once you like sort of get the flow of it, it's actually kind of fun. It's the weirdest thing in the world to say that this hard work is fun, but it truly is. Like my jam is like going and measuring tables. For whatever reason, I've discovered that that's something that's absolutely, wonderful and fun for me. So I really like, Comic-Con's already, I agree. It's just,
it was your quote.
Yes, indeed. But like I said, it was just absolutely just fun. And as I said, it's one of those things where you learn a lot of stuff about yourself doing this. And happily this year, James has been helping a lot in terms of getting the stuff for the media, because before it was just literally me, and maybe occasionally, some things. And then James came in later with a bunch of videos and stuff. And he's always been helpful with that. He's always been very super, reactive and creating super funny, great videos that are just the best. Like the dinosaur one, like everyone, I was on another podcast here recently and everyone was talking about it and how funny it was. And the guy pulled up the alligator one that you did. And everyone's like, oh, I wanted to see the dinosaur one. So you've gained popularity with what you've done there, James. So, but yeah, basically that. It's just the fact that it's alive and you have to be all over the place. But, it's a challenge, but it's pretty fun.
I mean, I would imagine personalities play a huge role in that as well when you're trying to combine the different vendors and the artists and the guests' personalities along with yours and what your team itself looks like.
Right.
And how that meshes together.
Well, I think I'm sorry. I'm talking over you, Jerry. Go ahead. I'll say my thoughts here in just a second.
Literally, it's just the way that you kind of put a tapestry together. The way you construct a tapestry is the way that I look at this. I know that James is super savvy with the marketing and stuff, and so he makes the videos and he puts stuff out into the world and connects like a lot of the things that you see on Eastern Rim that are like hey Iron Man movie is coming out or some other show or whatever. A lot of times that's James. I'm saying? I'm a teacher, and so I'm like super busy with a lot of other stuff as well, and I'm involved in a lot of the community stuff, and so I
work in healthcare. I got nothing going.
Time to do. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I work in healthcare. I got nothing else going. So
no, you got a lot
going on.
You have plenty of stuff going on, but I'm just saying that you can get to the stuff that I can't, and so I really appreciate it.
Well, I didn't know that James also for NerdCon had actually done videos before promoting it as well.
Yeah, the video thing that started. We had done some videos at the second Eastern Rim. Good evening, Facebook user.
Good evening.
We had done some there, but when we started talking about NerdCon, it was like we need to get some stupid attention because we have no budget. Like we put NerdCon one together on like $300. So what better way than to have goofy videos that kind of show people? So it kind of grew from there, and then we did them for Eastern Rim. the next year. And then like we got some really ridiculously insane storyline videos for the next NerdCon. And this year, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen, and the pandemic hit, and you know, to keep people safe, we haven't been able to get together as much. Videos are hilarious. Thank you for having no sense of humor, by the way. So this year we've just kind of had to do things on the fly, and I'm going to tell you, my boys here, they're real troopers. They hate it, and like poor Jaden had to put on a dinosaur mask, and then Devin had to put on a reindeer mask, and I'm like, no, cool. And like, and we're out there running, and the neighbors are looking at us, and it's torture for them. And they're like, you know, this didn't even faze you. I'm like, no, because being out there is kind of cool to me. But you know, the one thing I did want to say about that last question, though, and Jerry had really made a great point about it being a tapestry. But for us, it's easy to put these pieces together because almost all of the vendors are our friends already.
Yes.
Like, you know, I mean. You know, CJ, I apologize. I don't know you super well, but you know, I'm very
everywhere. I don't know how you don't know who
well, you know, CJ, I would very much like to know you better. And I don't mean that in the creepy, tell Greg never to have me on the show again. But I mean,
I was going to say my husband would like that too.
You know, but you know, I do know Greg well, and I've talked to Amy several times, and you know, and
well, part of my issue is I'm in Lufkin, so I'm not in like Houston
there
area.
You go. There you
So
go.
that's
you
part of
been
my
like coming
issue.
to Comic Palooza and just
Hey,
like,
wait a minute! I'm not in Houston anymore. I was in
anymore,
Houston,
but you were in.
when
You're closer.
No, when I first went, that was my first ever con that I went to. That I dressed up as Captain Marvel, and I drove in town. I actually had my dad drive my mom up because my husband was camping to watch this one, so I could go. Like that's how important it was for me to go. So no, I made that 2 hour. I was a 2 hour drive, and I had no idea where I was going. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. Like it was.
Is Mont Bellevue even a real place? Yeah. You know.
It's like, oh, thank you.
CJ is awesome. We love CJ.
I
I've known you
I
like
try.
5 minutes, and you're already my favorite person.
I try. Thank you. See, thank you. I'm moving up that ladder really quick. So it's
There you
okay.
go. There you go. No, but they are our friends, and I think, you know, for me personally, you know, when somebody chimes in at NerdCon, I give them my name. That way they don't just think they're talking to an actual convention. They know they're talking to a human being.
So you don't tell them you're just Nerd King. I mean,
and I invite them to. No, that's just my arrogance, by the way. And I invite them to friend me. You know, I mean, I want to get to know people. I want them to know what we're about, and I want them to also understand the expectation when you come to one of our events. We expect you to engage with people. You know, I mean, you're part of something. You're part of this show. It's not just our show; it's your show, and you're invested.
Well, one thing that you guys, like I said, I mentioned that you guys are really good on getting stuff out there. But the other thing that you guys do is you have a Facebook. Hi, Umbrella. You have like a Facebook chat group thing going on, so we can kind of get to know you guys. So when we get there, communication is high, is what I guess I'm trying to say. We know who and kind of a little bit about who you are from what we've learned through the time of before the show. And also you guys are really good in communicating with us as vendors and artists. You know, hey, we just shared this, or, you know, this happened last year. Sorry, guys, we have to cancel for this year. And so it's like you guys were very gracious and very kind and always keep up the communication. And that's a really strong, something that needs to be strong in a lot of the Comic-Cons. And I appreciate that because it doesn't happen in every one.
One of the things is so before I started doing cons and everything, I was a con goer, and I've been going since I was in college, and then I stopped for a long time, and I started going again in 2011. And I got to know a lot of vendors and a lot of artists. And the thing that they've always told me is that if you have a strong, good connection with your vendors and you take care of your vendors, then your vendors are going to take care of you. Yes. Because no matter what anybody says, in a show, the vendors are the backbone of every single show. If you don't treat them well, if you treat them poorly, or you have people who are yelling and being stupid with them, then you're not going to have vendors come back, and they're going to tell other vendors, and those vendors are going to come either. Yep. So ultimately, you have to take care of your vendors because they're the ones who support the show. Without the vendors, all you have is you're signing autographs is basically all it is without vendors. So you have to have the vendors, and you have to keep them happy. And we do our very, very best at both of the shows to make sure that our vendors are taken care of, and that we treat them like people. to the best of our ability, as long as we have enough of the volunteers, we give vendors bathroom breaks. We allow them to go and walk the floor and do stuff or whatever, because we truly feel that that's something that's lacking in a lot of the con communities and in a lot of the cons that exist today. So once again, treat the vendors right and things will be perfect, or at least close to perfect as you can.
From the vendor side of things, it's like the Comic-Con, and I said this before, the Comic-Con crew is a family. And so if you treat us nice, we'll treat everybody else nice. And like you're saying, we'll recommend, hey, you need to do Eastern Rim next year because they're really cool guys. But there are some where we get like zero communication, and you're right, because it's going to be like, you're not going to communicate with me. Why am I going to work with you?
Yeah, and that's again, I think that goes back to we view our vendors as our friends, and I think them being able to reach out.
Do that anyway.
Yeah, I want you to have a face to say that's the person I need to talk to. That's the person that's going to resolve my issues. And then I think clearly we can say, okay, well, we're doing this, so let's make sure we pass that on to our guests, because a Comic-Con is, look, let's be completely honest. Everything that we sell, just about, they can go down to the mall and buy. There's a Think Geek, there's a bookstore, there's comic book shops. They don't have to come to this one location and spend all their money, right? So we have to make it an experience. It has to be something where they come in and they have a good time, and it's more than just, I'm buying this product. And if you're not cool with your guests and you're not engaging to them and you don't make this a cool experience, there's no real reason for them to come back and be engaged. So, that's really important. And I think you start that, you treat your vendors right, you show them that, hey, this is important to us to treat our guests right, and it kind of builds from there.
See, but I like that.
Also, to answer that question, right above the stream, it says, click this to allow your name, and it will allow your name. You just have to allow stream.
I got her, Greg. I got her.
All right, so really quickly, to let folks know, a lot of times, and because like I said, I'm friends with a lot of comic promoters now after doing this for several years, and so sometimes I hear things that other folks don't hear. A lot of times, the people who run cons aren't even from the United States, or they're from another country, or they're from from Europe or whatever, and they're owned from different places. And not talking badly about folks from other places, but they're not local. They don't know the people who are there, and they don't really care to interact or to connect with a lot of folks. You know what I'm saying? For us, we're local, we're there. I'm on the floor. You see me running around. You see James running around like crazy. And the thing is, this is that we're asking how our vendors are doing because we care. We want things to be okay. And let's say maybe this show wasn't the greatest for you in terms of finances or whatever. At the very least, our shows are inexpensive enough that you can throw down $50 for 2 days, or $50 for 1 day, depending on what it is, and that's almost nothing. That's a very inexpensive show. You know what I'm saying? And so more than likely you'll make your table that day, and probably a little bit more. But even if you don't do tremendous amount of you don't do like $2,000 or something like that, we're still there to support you and to help you and to have a good time, and we want to make sure that we, I want to make sure that I talk to every vendor at a show at least, 3 or 4 times throughout the entirety of the show or the day, because for me, I think that sets a standard, and James is out there doing the absolutely the same thing. We got to make sure that our vendors are taken care of, bar none.
So how do I word this properly?
Well, so I think that's great because most of the time I go to cons, and I'm there to have a good time in the experience. But a lot of times the vendors and stuff don't get bathroom breaks, and so I'm there, security guard of the table, so they can go and shop around and stuff. So I love that you have volunteers to do that. But man, that's part of why I'm there too. So just tell me where to go, man. I can go sit at someone's table. I'm good.
I know.
At that. Ask Greg.
I know the guy at Beaumont is probably sitting there saying, "What the hell?" Because I have been told there have been 4 people that have said, "I want to be next to Greg." At Beaumont.
They'll still put him next to me.
Yeah, probably.
And it's like, whoa. But so a lot of it is, yeah, you do need to get up and you do need to walk around. You just can't sit in one spot constantly. And it is hard. I know with what we're doing now, it's really hard for me to be able to sit down constantly now, because now I'm doing a lot of the interviews at the shows. So it's very hard. So yes, I do need somebody at least trying to watch my table for a little bit.
I'm here, Greg. I'm here. I'm one of the things I'm good at.
I think I've watched your table on several occasions, haven't I, Greg? Like at least three or four times?
Yes, I know you did at I think you did at
I did it at Beaumont, I think both times that you were there.
Yeah, and the one in Katy. Son of Houston.
Son of Houston Con, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
You
and
go.
I know Fern was there with us, but
absolutely.
Yeah, and it helps because I mean, there's a lot of times when I do have to get up, and yeah, I do smoke, but there's other issues that there are other issues. There are other issues that I have where I have to go.
Yeah.
Now, I'm understanding correctly that Eastern Rim is free for people to attend, correct?
Absolutely. So let me give you the background on that. I'm part of a 501c3 nonprofit community center called the Fred Aguilar Promise Center. And what we do is we provide, services for the community, and we're funded through grants and donations, and kind people writing checks for us and stuff like that. We provide after school tutorials for whenever things are like they are right now. We provide after school tutorials for kids 1st through 5th grade on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Homework help, that kind of a thing. We have leadership camps in the summer for high school kids. That all this is free, by the way. High school kids, and so they get to meet the mayor, they get to meet the superintendent, they get to meet the police chief. We talk about working meetings. We take them to the Holocaust Museum, to the Capitol. We do a lot of really cool things like that with these kids, so we can show them what it's like to be a leader. So we can maybe grow some leaders from the inside. And whenever we're all old and decrepit, someone takes over for us. You know what I'm saying? Who's inspired, hopefully. We also have things like we have Dia de los Muertos parties, and we also have concert series. We have art shows, poetry readings, and one of the services that we provide aside from those is the Eastern Rim Funny Book and Vintage Con, that we wanted to make sure that people can get the same sort of entertainment and connection to literacy, because that's my thing. I'm an English teacher. Connection to literacy, and just be able to have access to those things. Because, for instance, any con that you go to these days, you're looking at $75 to $95 per ticket. Okay, that's for a 3-day pass. Okay, so let's just say $100 just for taxes and everything. Okay, so if you have a family of 4, that's $400. If you're gonna pay $20 to $40 to get parked, and to like $8 or $10 for really crappy con pizza that's made out of styrofoam and a little bit of sand, the con pizza, I'm talking about. Or the con hamburgers that are mostly soy and maybe a little bit of rubber, So
not a burger.
By the way, if the good people of Domino's want to sponsor one of our conventions, we're not talking about you.
We'll take whatever you got. So
you have a market.
You're talking about $500 before you get in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Before you can spend any money on anything, going to see the guests, getting an autograph, getting a piece of art done, and we wanted to provide something for our community, for the broader community, for everybody to be able to have the same sort of situation occur, and get to meet great guests and get to spend their money on the things they want to spend. And NerdCon is the same way. NerdCon is modeled after Eastern Rim in that regard, because we want to make sure that everybody has access, because everyone deserves access. Everyone deserves access to something so cool and so awesome, that, no one should be denied. And sure, there's paid models. Perfect. Wonderful. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. Our business model is to make no money and spend every piece of money that we get on the con and making it available to all the kids.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, especially from the vendor perspective, because if they are spending money on the tickets and the parking, they can't, purchase anything on the inside. So, or at least it's very slim.
Yeah, much like Jerry, I started just as a fan of going to these shows, and again, when I went to my first Comic-Con, I wasn't in a high-paying job. Not that my job sets the world on fire at the moment, but I've got a professional career now.
Currently, it's holding the world together if you're healthcare.
Absolutely.
My original job, I wasn't making a lot of money, and so it was a lot to just pay for tickets and parking and come in. And I wanted to make sure that, because for years we didn't go to conventions because we were like, we can't afford that. So I wanted to make sure those young parents had that opportunity to take their children in. And have that good
Thank you.
Thank you. Be able to come in. You are well, Amy. I had you in mind when I set this up.
I knew it, man. I was like, this is after me, and that is just thank you so much.
But it's really cool, because in a lot of ways, when you go to Comic-Con, it takes you back to when you were a kid, because you see all of this stuff that you loved as a kid. But you also go to these conventions, and you see all these things that your kids love. You know, for me, my first convention, I'm like, holy crap, GI Joe stuff is here, and it's so amazing and it's so cool, and my kids like Dragon Ball Z, and so it was kind of the coming together of our worlds, and it was just really kind of a neat experience. And I want to make sure every parent can have that and not be kind of limited by budget. So if you've only got, if you've got $50 and that's all you can spend, I'd rather you spend it on our vendors buying great books from G.M. Kelso, noted author.
Hello.
And CJ
Peterson,
Peterson.
Ellen Mad.
Thank you.
So listen, I just wanted to point out that I was giving Greg the plug because I knew he needed it more. So, I mean,
I do have a quick
I love
announcement
it.
though.
Oh,
I have
love
a
it.
new book coming out, and it's a Christian sci-fi book, and I will have them for Eastern Rim.
Yes, awesome, terrific.
you know what? Can we completely stop the Eastern Rim NerdCon show and just talk about what the heck Christian sci-fi is?
Right? Yes.
I'm
And Jesus
creating a
came in his
genre.
rocket ship.
No. I am creating a
Yes.
genre. This one has to do with genetic engineering. So
Okay.
it's your basic sci-fi type story with the Christian twist, because there are two nurses, one's a Christian, one's not, and that's where Christianity comes into play. So it's basically real life type stuff with the sci-fi twist to it. But yeah, it's not a genre. I'm creating it.
I'm really liking that Jesus came down on a rocket ship though. Like that, I'm really liking that.
I'm just
That's
saying,
pretty epic.
CJ, if you use that, please give me no credit.
I'll put you in the dedication. Thank you very much.
Now, one thing that was asked earlier for James, but wasn't really asked for Jerry, what about panels? Have you come up with the panels for the show this year? Or
I'm working on them right now. Of course, we're going to have an authors panel for sure, and we'll have.
Hi, Jerry. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
No. Of course. Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying that y'all are going to be on it, obviously.
I heard that
Okay,
particular
just
panel
get
was
my
going to
head
be.
in there.
I was going to say, I heard that particular panel was going to be moderated by Amy. Is that true?
That would be fun.
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know if you want me to moderate that one, man.
we're going to
we
have
get a blank.
Lisa Vasquez, who moderated for us last year, do it again, and she's moderated panels like in not only in Eastern Rim, but I mean Comic Palooza and all those kinds of stuff. But we're going to have everybody together there, all genres, all connections, and you're going to have a nice, good discussion over the topics of the meat of what you do and how it connects to your readers, obviously. And we will do other individual panels as well, and I will be getting with y'all for that as well, also here in the future. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm working in terms like right now we're working with the Buzz. Right now we're working with the Buzz for our ads and our ad space and everything, and so I've got like I said, a lot of coals in the fire. But I will get with y'all soon enough about the panels. But I am working on that as well.
I'm just excited. This is my first time at Eastern Rim. We moved to Lufkin in 2019, so it was the year before, pandemic again, whatever you want to call it. So this is our first venture into a lot of the Houston Comic Cons, and so we're basically just coming in under it. So I'm really excited for this one.
Holy crap, Jerry! Let's just say they are basing their entire Houston experience upon Eastern Rim. So.
No, because I've done Comic Conroe.
let's not say they. I've been. I go all over the place.
We're doing Beaumont. We're doing Tyler.
I'm gonna be straight up honest with you because I feel like we can do that. We're all family. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up honest.
There you go.
I did not know about Eastern Rim until I met Greg and really became friends with Greg. So I'm just gonna be honest. So I have never been to Eastern Rim. I am excited just listening to you guys talk about it and the whole behind the scenes and the passion behind creating Eastern Rim, and that right there drives me to want to go. So I will, I'm potentially going to make the drive, and you can ask Greg. I am known for this. I bought tickets for the Scary Dad haunted house. I'm about to book my my camping journey, I guess, for Renfest. I have to convince my husband of this. So I don't drag my husband with me because I guess I'm too nerdy for him. I don't know. He just hasn't dived into my nerdiness yet. We've been married forever. I don't know why. But
see, and I'm blessed. Mine is like full nerd with me. We're both on Star Trek Pathfinder. We're both, Comic-Con type people. So I'm blessed because he just goes with me. He's like, great, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Well,
Here's
so
Amy's husband. Amy's husband's like, honey, we need separation. This is
yeah, he's like, we're good.
My
Started talking family outfits, and that's when it was just like, I know.
and I have to say, my worst experience for the convention, and it's not anybody's fault, was I had NerdCon, and it happened 2 days after my grandmother passed away. I mean, it was just back to back. So it was, and that was my first one there. So it was actually so hard for me to actually just sit down and concentrate and do anything. So hopefully this year will be a lot different.
Well, definitely. Well, I can say this, Greg, you did a terrific job because every time I saw you, you were very engaging with everybody, and people were walking by your table, and you were talking to them. So you held together well, and the strength showed through. So just letting you know.
Thank you.
There is a question.
Very sorry for your loss, by the way.
Oh yeah, there is a question. You're right.
There is a question, and I'm kind of curious myself. Eastern Rim is in Baytown. Where did you come up with the name Eastern Rim?
Okay, so since we're a local con, all right, we are we're on the east side of Houston, okay? And so we were kind of throwing around, okay, originally.
You're on the Eastern Rim of Houston. Is that what
correct.
you're...
Originally,
Let's be very clear. I had nothing to do with this name choice.
Right. Originally,
I wanted to call it Nerd.
It just reminds me of like a sci-fi movie.
Exactly.
Like Pacific Rim, Eastern Rim. I mean,
absolutely. That's literally the thought process that we had. We were originally called the Dirty Bay
is it
Funny Book
scary
and
that
Vintage
I
Con.
followed your thought process?
Indeed. The Dirty Bay Funny Book and Vintage Con. And the reason because Dirty Bay was the name of Baytown, one of the nicknames that we have or whatever. But there was a Dirty Bay beer company, and people get confused with that, and we're like, yeah, no, we don't want to get connected with just drinking beer only. We drink beer and read comics. So we chose the name because of the fact that actually it did connect to sci-fi, Outer Rim, Eastern Rim, and we are the Eastern Rim of Houston. And people artists who are national are asking are you gonna stay with that name? Because we're nowhere near the east because we're in the south or whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're gonna stick with it. It'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? We'll just go along with it. It'll be just fine. Don't worry about it. Come along. You'll have a great time.
I think it's a cool name. I think.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I just couldn't figure out the connection between Baytown and Eastern Rim. So thank you for explaining that.
My pleasure.
Did you explain that? I'm sorry, I dozed off there for a second.
Yes, he did. He did. So obviously, NerdCon is because it's for geeks and nerds, which all of us are. So
I think a lot of that came. Did a lot of that come from NerdFest with the NerdCon?
No, it did not. Because again, I would have called it NerdFest. No, we met with the Chambers County Library System, and initially, there was a lot of hemming and hawing about what we were going to be, because initially the ladies were like, we don't want to sell stuff there. Maybe you can let your author sell. And so they met with the Friends of the Library, and we were really looking at, how do we tie it back into the county? And so we were talking about EagleCon because. In Mont Bellevue, their logo is the Eagles and everything in Mont Bellevue is Eagle Drive, the high school's the Eagles, it's all Eagles. So we were talking about EagleCon, and they met with the Friends of the Library, and she's just like, why not sell stuff? We did it at this thing we did in Anahuac a few years ago, so let's do that. And she's like, and they're like, what do you think of the name? She goes, why not just call it NerdCon? And I'm like, and they came back to us, and we're like, okay, we're NerdCon. That's it.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. So that's what we are. And it's been a good ride. And interestingly enough, I want to say that NerdCon is the only Comic-Con to predict the future. And this is a true story. We when we were looking at NerdCon 3, and it was coming up, we were looking at NerdCon 2020, right? We're trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. And it's like NerdCon 3. And I'm like, okay, our first one was about invasion, right? Or our previous one was about invasion. Let's do one about outbreak, right? Like the aliens came down and they gave us all this horrible disease, right? And now we're all nerds and we have to come to the convention, right? And of course, right after we named that, here comes COVID-19. Thank you very much. So
Wow.
It's all
We're not
his
using-
fault.
We're not using that marketing anymore, by the way.
no,
Just-
It's all his fault.
It's NerdCon returns. So yeah, but there was going to be this whole thing where everybody turned into zombies, and I was going to tell this big arcing story in our
Oh man,
promotional
that
stuff.
would have been cool. You had me at zombies, man. That
Yeah,
would have been
it
awesome.
was like really
That's
like it
Amy's
was
thing.
progressing
Yeah.
well.
Now you know why Amy took over the Scary Dad show.
Yeah, man. That's my kind of thing. I love that whole vibe and stuff. I don't know. Zombies just
Okay.
fascinate me. So
Amy, if you like that, you need to look up Mark Nelson's art because it is some of the strangest, scary, like out of this world kind of stuff. Seriously, I think you'd really like it.
That
Just
sounds
saying.
like something up our alley.
yes.
You know, I think we
Hello.
started talking about guests like 5 hours ago.
We haven't finished them yet, have we?
I don't think we.
No, I
It's only been like 3 questions.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, there's no dead
No.
air. We're covering
We,
all
we
sorts
have
of things.
we have kind of big personalities, and so when we're like, it's kind of like a pool table. You hit the ball, and it knocks everything around, and we're all just doing this and this and this and this and this, and finally it
Physics.
stops. We're like, do we have another question? Didn't we have one?
So, who are the rest of the guests
Okay.
for Eastern Rim?
so far the guests that we have released are Kez Wilson. He worked on The Atom and a bunch of other really cool books for DC Comics. Great guy, super nice. I mean, terrific artist. Just one of the best guys ever. I frequent Dallas here recently because I'm going to a bunch of the cons up there, and I'm friends with some of the promoters. Mark Walters, he does the Dallas Comic Show, and so I get to meet these guys because I'm part of this group called the North Texas Art Collective or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what the name is, but we all get together like and have a dinner and bring our art and we show it to each other after the show. It's really nice, and so I got to meet Kez up there, and he's just a terrific guy. And the other guy who's coming, who we released, is going to be Steve Irwin, and no, not the Crocodile Hunter. Okay. Steve
I would
Irwin
say that
is
would be a trick. That would be more
Yeah,
along the
well,
line of
going back
zombies.
to-
I'm
right.
just
Well,
saying.
literally, I was about to say that.
And-
Yeah.
In the
Greg, you
sci-fi
were gonna say
Christian, yeah, I was going to say in the Christian sci-fi, bringing them back
Oh,
to
there
the
you go.
dead.
Ooh.
Okay, there you go. Look at that. The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
Hmm.
So I will say this: Steve Irwin is a terrific guy. He worked on Checkmate. He also worked on Deathstroke Terminator, and just great artist. Super nice guy, like so smart, like so incredibly smart, and great artist. So those are the folks that we've released so far. I can give you a hint of who we're going to be releasing on Monday.
I was going to ask for a hint.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. All I can say is Howard the Duck, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
I don't
I'm a little
think,
intrigued.
to be clear, we're not actually releasing the actual Howard the Duck. The collector has got him all bottled up still. So
Oh man, there we go. Guardians of the Galaxy.
there you go.
Now I got
Thank
to
you.
go watch that show.
Everybody's like,
Now I got to go
what
watch
does
that show.
mean?
I have to say, Greg, I think you've laughed more in this show than I've seen you laugh in some of the other shows. I think you've been laughing almost the whole
I'll
time.
be honest with you. I needed it this week. I had a
Greg is like,
horrible
this
week.
is the best
so
show I've
this
had
is-
in 5 minutes.
Well, I'm glad.
We try to
yeah,
have
it
fun.
definitely helps.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one thing I did want to talk about is the fact that we do want to spotlight our vendors, our authors, our artists, our local artists. We released 3 local artists just the other day, and we're going to be releasing folks. Every day that we don't have a main guest that's being released, we will be releasing 2 to 3 vendors and spotlighting them or whatever. So if y'all get a chance, please, pretty please, with Sugar on Top, share them, because like I said, it only makes the show better. And the same thing when we do this with NerdCon, make sure that you share, make sure that you and then y'all have been doing terrific. I mean, thank you so much, because literally it's just like okay, oh, there's Greg, okay, there's CJ, okay, there's this
We
person.
try.
No, yeah,
She has a
you're trying.
name.
You're
It's
doing it.
Amy.
Yeah,
There's
it's my
Greg. There's
friend.
CJ. There's someone else.
I knew it was coming. Like, it's okay. I knew my name was coming. It's hard to pronounce. I get it. It's okay. I
Ravi
totally
Chandran?
understand.
Did I say it right?
Hey, yes, you are the first person. I feel like I should give you something. Like,
Give me a high five. Give me a high five.
He was looking for where her kid was. You're going to become the proud owner of a new child.
I love my
Take
children.
this one. Take this one.
You get your
if it was an
choice. They're
hour
the
ago,
Irish twins.
No,
I
you know,
would have an hour ago, but not right now. No, I'll bring you something. If I come to Eastern Rim, I'll bring it. If not, I'll give it to
What do you
Greg. when
mean,
I
if?
see him.
Here, watch this. Just make the gift. You coming to Eastern Rim. How about that?
There you go.
We do have our
Okay.
stickers now.
no, I do. And in all seriousness, Amy, I do want
There
you
you
to,
go.
Very cool.
if you want
Nice.
to come to NerdCon, also, we'll make sure that you can host a panel if you want.
Oh.
And you do
Okay,
not have
I'll
to
go.
invite Greg to be on that panel. Just putting it-
Well, and I know that we're going to be at Eastern Rim. So I know we're going to be doing some of the interviews while we're there. So we'll be
Mhm.
doing some lives
Well-
and then we'll stream it together like we have been for the other Comic Cons.
How about this? Let's do this. Let's have a Con Hour Eastern Rim panel wherever all of the Con Hour folks come,
There we
including
go.
me,
Including Amy.
including Amy. We can. That's something we can definitely do. Okay, we can have a Con Hour panel where you can get in there and just stretch your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Amy can.
Who really wants to get to know us?
TJ
That's
can do a
scary.
handstand, and then Greg can do a backspin. It'll be great.
Well, no, see, what you don't understand is CJ has made a kind of promise to El
To El
Ariachi.
Ariachi.
She has to do
Oh,
air
that's
guitar.
right. Yes, she does.
Oh,
Ooh, video
It's not
that.
the guitar,
that
it's the drum. It's the
So
drum.
that will be something videoed. She has to
That's
do the
the
air
drum,
guitar.
not a guitar.
CJ,
It
will you
will.
be in cosplay doing this, by the way? Because I know he
Quite
typically-
possibly.
All right.
I may do this or I may do my cosplay that's up here.
So definitely that we
Could
definitely
you,
have
could you
to
do the
get
one that's over my shoulder over here?
Wonder Woman? No. You wouldn't want me to. No.
I think that would probably just make the show out of pure, watching you feel awkward in it. Just like
Trust me, me playing the air drums is awkward enough. Just trust me. It's,
I'm telling you, it's going to be recorded and live broadcast everywhere that I can get it. Like, it's going to be great.
yeah, and
I'm
then
so
it's going to be
excited.
your turn because you were promised too.
When was I supposed to? Was it at this
You're,
one?
yep,
I
you
don't
were
know.
doing the air guitar.
did
I
this-
was doing the drum.
But she's made
I
so
have no
many
Hello to the
problem.
different.
rescue pup because they just said hello to us.
But now wait a second though. There was another agreement to it though. I had to have a few margaritas before I got up there.
I'll do it sober. I
No,
mean,
wait.
I don't
I
care.
don't remember
I
that
just-
part.
I
Yeah,
did. I
I
said I have
don't
to have a
care.
few margaritas before I did it.
It's okay. I don't really, whatever. This is just whatever. I'll get up there and do it. Whatever.
I could do the
Well,
drum. I told him I
I'll
could
drink
probably handle the
afterwards.
drums. I don't know that I can handle guitar.
I'll drink afterwards because then I'll just be like, what the hell did I just do? And then I'll have to go drink, to just come to terms with it, but I'll do it sober. Yes. yes.
whoever
And the
posted
sad
that
thing
should be
is-
ashamed of themselves.
You said.
Anubis
That's
hasn't
true.
even been on today.
I know.
I
For
mean-
real.
Okay.
Where's your buddy?
It's okay. He's off drinking. He's getting ahead, like pre-gaming for me. I got it. It's all good.
Yeah,
Well-
you guys are getting ready for next weekend, so it's all good.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing is Amy's made so many plans. I don't know how she's going to be able to do everything.
Man.
I mean, she
don't
has
know.
Scary Dad, the Texas Ren Fest. We have
I got
the,
scared. I got
Esports
the-
Summit next weekend.
We got that, and then we're gonna have and then I guess I got Eastern Rim, and then I have Scary Dad.
I
And
guess.
I'll just do Eastern Rim.
Just throw it in my calendar, man. I'm gonna make it happen somehow. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna get down there, and I may or may not have my kids with me, which will just make me more of a
Hey,
hot
bring
mess,
your kids.
but,
You
It'll be
know
fun.
what? Here's what I love about Amy, right? Amy, like, we're invited to be on the con hour, and then like Amy's just nonchalant, like, yeah, I guess I'm going. I don't know. Doesn't sound like something I want to be a part of.
Maybe not.
Oh
Hey,
my
you
God,
know
Greg, what did you get me into?
Okay, in my defense, I only say it that way because I have two little
Awesome.
kids, and most people don't want little kids, my little kids, running around
Your little
like a
kids
hot
are
mess,
cute.
like their mom. Okay, their mom is a hot mess. Like you guys have me on here. Picture that, like times 3, because it's
You
like
need-
my oldest and me, and then then my husband would have to come. And
You
Lord
need to
knows-
get him into
I'd have
some
to hear
sort of
about
cute
that.
little cosplay. So you could have like
No.
you as Spider Gwen,
I
your
won't.
husband as Spider Man,
know-
the little spider kids.
I'm just gonna
to
say,
be-
Amy, your husband needs to cosplay because he is so dreamy. Oh my God.
I
Why
said
does
that
everybody
they should
tell
be
me
the
that?
Incredibles.
Everybody says that about Josh. I'm just gonna stop posting photos of that man. I'm just like, man, what now?
I
I love
think
that
they
she's like
should come as
jealous.
the
Like
Incredibles.
she's like, why does everybody think my husband's so attractive? Oh my god,
Oh my
this is
gosh,
horrible.
yes! I hear this all the time. No, so
no,
I
Amy,
mean,
you're amazing, and obviously you had to be super attractive to nail a hunk like that. Oh my god, like that guy is like, no,
Somebody
No.
put Josh as
I do.
Amy.
He is. Yes, Kelly, he is. I mean, true statement. But no, I don't mean it. I don't mean it as like, I guess that's where I'm going. I just mean it as, okay, now that's on my calendar. I got to figure out how I'm going to handle my hot mess of children. Because I don't think you guys really want my children running around because, like, y'all can.
Amy,
No, we'll be
Comic-Con is
sitting
no
there
place for.
behind-
I mean, all the toys and the exciting, colorful characters. Definitely
No,
not a
no,
place
no,
for.
standing
no,
behind
Imagine all the
table.
stuff that.
No,
Imagine
we're
all
not
the
like
stuff you're
that.
going to have to
So,
buy.
just-
We're gonna
I
see
know.
the little
That's the
spider kids
thing.
running
From
around.
these
And we're like,
wonderful
oh, there's
vendors.
Amy's little kid.
No,
Oh,
it's
there's
not.
another one.
It's not so much like that. Like you guys, you know how you guys had me at like Comic Conroe, and y'all could kind of barely handle me when I was Spider Gwen.
What are you
It's kind
talking
of like
about?
that
It's
with
fun.
my children. Like I can't even manage my own children in my house, so I don't want to take them out and try to manage them because that would just
There'll be
I
like
would die.
little spider kids running around, and we'll go,
Yeah,
oh, that's Amy's.
I mean,
That's Amy's
there's
over
no,
there.
there's no telling what they'll get into, what they could possibly break, who is their new BFF, and I may not, I don't know. I may just auction off a kid while I'm there. That could happen.
Another thing, so-
Highest bidder, okay?
Let them
Highest
do
bidder.
the air drums
just-
and the air guitar.
I just want to point out that the weirdest and most incredible comment of the night was Mommy saying she's totally curious about your husband.
I would call him in here. I mean,
I think we
have
need
no
to get
shame.
her there as well. I mean, Eastern Rim's probably not that far from her.
She's not
Well,
going. I
and-
thought she was.
The cool thing
Is
about
she going?
I don't know. That's kind of a challenge throw down there from Mombarella.
Hold on.
Yeah,
let me
that's a
call my
challenge.
husband, see if he'll
Where's she
come
coming from?
She's just, I think, a little bit north of where I'm at.
Well, Greg
So
can give
she's
her a
not that
ride.
far.
Shit.
Yeah.
No, the guys, the coolest thing about Eastern Rim, and this is one of the reasons that Nerdfest is so intertwined with Eastern Rim, is it's not a huge convention. It's a nice convention. It's nice in its size, but it's not a huge megacon. It's a gymnasium, but that gives you time to actually visit and engage with the vendors and the guests,
Mhm.
get to know people and have a sense of community. And that's one of the things that when Nerdfest initially, there was the Dirty Bay convention that Jerry did, and then the next year when he turned it to Eastern Rim, Nerdfest had a big part in that. We had a little table there. We invited people to our group, and we got a lot of people there to photographs. And there was a real sense of community, and that's one of the things I think you miss from a lot of the big conventions because there's so much to see and do, and you don't get to really spend time with your friends. So if you come to Eastern Rim, you not only get to spend time with your friends, but you get to make friends. You have time to talk. You see somebody in a cosplay, you actually have time to talk to them and find out where they are and get their Facebook, name and get their Instagram account. And so really become engaged with them and part of that experience. So,
One of the things that
beauty of an Eastern Rim.
One of the things that a lot of our vendors have told me is that Eastern Rim feels like the old school shows. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody knew everybody and we were all friends and we would come together and, chat and have fun and go see each other's tables and, go buy stuff from each other and, just run around and, like it was, back in the 60s and in the 70s and, in some parts of the 80s before it became very commercial, and nothing against the commercial stuff. It's fine. I love Comic Palooza. I love, the Fan Expo. I love all that stuff. It's great. It's a terrific shows. It's just not the same in regards to being able to connect with your friends, with people who you consider family. Sometimes you don't see, people come from different parts of the country and you don't see them other than at shows. You know what I'm saying? And so people really appreciate and love that. And that's one of the things that are key for not only Eastern Rim, for NerdCon as well.
Plus, you might also
Definitely.
find your new favorite, artist or author or somebody there.
And to let you know how the vendors do have so much fun, and we do communicate with each other. Last time Eastern Rim was going on, I think it was Sunday, and it was a little slow at the time. I think I'm bad at last names, so don't hate me. Diane Prokop
Prokop. Mhm.
was playing a ukulele and singing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's
I
awesome.
missed this. Oh my gosh, that would have been awesome. Was
Yes.
that
Well,
December
you know, we know how
4th?
much you love ukulele music, so
I do. I actually do slightly enjoy that. Yes.
I believe Scary Dad was there.
Oh, see, now Amy's definitely coming.
Scary Dad's going to be here this year as well. At the very least, Scott's
see?
going to be there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh.
And that's
Oh.
actually going to be the week before they open up their or do their
Oh my
event.
gosh. You guys. Oh my gosh. My weekends are I gotta do for everything. I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Amy. Once you're sucked into this world, there's no escape. You're here for the rest of your life.
I know.
You've gone down the rabbit hole. You're just.
I know.
Just
And
go
I'm
with
over
the
here
flow.
I'm over here trying to like find a picture of my husband to send to Mama Rellis, and she's like all curious. And I'm sitting here because I called him, and he's like,
Okay.
ignoring
I
me.
gotta
And-
say now I really love the fact that Amy's sending the users her husband's photo. She's like, I'm so
Hey,
curious
whoever
about your
wants to
husband.
photo
Amy's like,
of
here's
my
a
husband.
picture.
Well,
She's not saying she was curious. I was just engaging with our fans.
Very good.
I know several of the
She's using
authors
her
going to
husband.
Eastern. I know several of the authors going to Eastern Rim, and they are all great authors.
Thank you.
And just
And
so
are
y'all
you.
know, thank you. But James, when do you think you're going to start announcing people for NerdCon?
So
Do you-
Jerry and I, one of the things that we do for NerdCon is, I mean, we want to be super engaging and get everything out there, but just due to the fact that Eastern Rim's coming up, what I didn't want to do is the fact that we're both so entwined with these two shows that we didn't want to have NerdCon stepping on Eastern Rim and competing for eyeballs. So as soon as, when do I expect that we're going to start announcing guests? September 13th.
I was going to say the day after Eastern
The
Rim.
day
Yeah,
after.
I mean, we're gonna, because usually, NerdCon and Eastern Rim are in different parts. I mean, I think last Eastern Rim was in April,
Mhm.
and NerdCon falls in December. So we've got that separation period where it's like we can really focus on this one, and then move on to the next one. And because this year, because pandemic, Eastern Rim got pushed back. And so now they're a lot closer together than typically we would have liked them to been. But we're just going to hit the ground running with NerdCon, and we're going to just blast it everywhere we can. And we're going to do a lot. We due to the situation dealing with the pandemic and keeping everyone safe out there, we've not been able to do a lot of the going and handshaking and the meeting people like we would like to do. But as the standards have kind of relaxed some, and again, we do encourage everybody to be safe out there and take appropriate precautions. But maybe with NerdCon we'll be a little more boots on the ground and really working things in Mont Bellevue a lot more. But yeah, as soon as
That's actually what my next question was going to be.
That's what I was going to be asking.
We were all on the same page. Is Eastern Rim going to flip back to spring come next year?
We're looking at how things work out with this right now. I'm not sure exactly because it's not just me; it's it's the board of the Promise Center, and so we're going to see how things work out, and we're going to look at it, and we'll see how it all kind of pans out with this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, but not to worry.
Awesome.
There are some great announcements coming for our NerdCon as well. We're going to, we're definitely very pop culture focused. There's going to be, we've secured an incredible anime guest. I can't believe we've gotten this person. You're
not even saying a him or a her. You're just saying person.
Let's just say that they are a major player on a couple of great anime shows. And I'm not saying it's Dragon Ball Z and Tokyo Ghoul. I'm not saying that at all. But
Got it.
Important. This person is, they're wonderful. They're super engaging. And we're going to try to bring some good guests. We'd like to get, and to be completely honest, any assistance that Conhour can provide us in getting some incredibly reasonably priced guests, we're certainly open to that.
Hey, send them our way too. I mean,
You guys have
I'm
the connection.
available. I'm
just saying,
available.
send them our way. We can work together on this.
Yeah,
Well, I am
I don't know
working
how
on
we
an
would get- how
October
we could-
schedule, which is
I don't know how we
But-
could afford to get Amy to come to our show. I mean, she's like triple booked. She's like, she has like 3 different podcasts or whatever that she works on. Do you even still do the original one that you were on?
Yeah,
You know?
that's the
Let's
first one.
see.
And then somehow
Just so
this
people
year
know.
I've wound up on 5. So I have the original one that I've been on, and then I added 4 more for some reason. And I took over another business and started another one. So
We would say the name of the original one, but Greg told us if we did, he'd beat us. So
I can say it. I'll say it. I ain't got no problem saying it. Whatever. No, my original podcast is Author Talk. Was the
Which
original
I will
one
be
that I had
on.
James on. So
Which I will
that
be
is-
on the 30th of August, by the way.
Yeah, so that is my OG podcast one. But I will say we are on the Con Hour, and this has been so much fun to talk to you guys. Even though I'm just sitting here, and then I got my husband is dreamy, and we went off that whole tangent, and then ridiculed because I'm trying to fit Eastern Rim into my schedule. But man, if I can make it happen, I'll be there. You guys know that for sure. But
so,
yeah,
and for the record, I have not actually been on any of your shows until now. You actually had Kelly from the you did have not Kelly, Valerie from the library.
Oh, okay. Because I remember you tuned in, and I remember saying hi to you, and I wouldn't.
Well, I do
pronounce
text
the
a
last
lot.
name.
And
yeah, maybe that was it.
I love that she's got this vague memory that she created a whole story around about me. However, if you ever want me to come on
covering our bases, yeah.
If you ever want me to come on that show, I'll get like a sweater and like a cup of hot cocoa, and I'll be like, yes, my favorite book is, and then I'll have to look at my wife and go, give me a name of a book.
No, you're welcome anytime. I don't know, man. I also was probably pregnant when she was on, so I mean that in my defense. But no, you guys are
with
welcome
one of those Irish
Irish twins.
One of those children that I have, man. I don't know. This year I haven't been pregnant for this whole year, and that's where I was just like, whoo, I know what it feels like again. Like I don't know, it was just great.
I love that she's like, I haven't been pregnant this whole year. Like, and the year's not quite over, Amy. And your husband is rather
I got you. Come on the next podcast. I'm pregnant.
So much for being made for kids.
Amy's gonna be all like, I've got 14 children now.
No, please don't wish that on me. Okay, 2 is enough for.
Mommy had just asked
Amy's
about
next
anything she
podcast
wants to know.
is constantly
anything
pregnant.
specific she should know about the Eastern Rim or NerdCon, because since there's no charge, she's like, that frees up so much. Anything specific you'd want to tell her about? I mean,
sure, absolutely. Just bring your friends, bring your family, come have a terrific time. It costs nothing to get in, costs nothing to park. You can buy all the stuff that you want with the money that you have. And, we'll see you there, and we'll give you a high five or a fist bump or whatever you're comfortable with. And just to know we're going to be, very safe with everything. And we're going to encourage masks, and we're going to, encourage folks to bring like hand sanitizer and stuff for their tables. And, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be safe, and it's going to be fun. So bring all the cool stuff. Yes, there will be food. There will be drink. We will have a concession stand, and the food will be inexpensive. It'll be like, sandwiches and hot dogs, stuff like that or whatever. But the thing is that it's not going to be like $8 con pizza like we talked about earlier. It's going to be inexpensive, and it's going to be good. Yes.
So no soy burgers, no.
No, yeah, no.
So
soy
there
burgers.
might be at NerdCon, there may be a good selection of burgers. You guys know that the Eagle Point Cafe is there at the Eagle Point Rec Center, and they do have amazing food. So yes, there will be food at NerdCon, and it is amazing. And the Mont Bellevue burger is like to die for. It might be the most incredibly delicious thing you'll ever put in your mouth.
So here's the big question for both of these cons: where are you located?
Oh my God! I thought you were going to ask if they were going to get married. I was going to say,
well, technically, you already are. So,
yeah. All right.
Sort of.
So, all right. Eastern Rim Funny Book and Vintage Con, September 11th and 12th is going to be at Lee College in Baytown, 200 Lee Drive, and literally you just turn onto Lee Drive, go down, you turn one more time, and there's the parking spaces. Go in. It's going to be right there in the front. You'll see the signs. We'll have signs everywhere. And it's going to be a terrific time. On Saturday, it's going to be from 10 to 6. And on Sunday, it'll be from 10 to 5.
Awesome. And NerdCon?
Yeah, NerdCon's out in Mont Bellevue, and it's at the Eagle Point Rec Center. As far as the address goes, I don't know. I don't have that
Actually-
Too early to think that way.
information. I'm like,
Oh.
but it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be what 10 to 5, I believe. And
Well, and I know that
Hey, it's only going to take me an
It is
hour
at-
and 58 minutes to get to Eastern Rim. I'm just saying, I mapped it. Okay,
I know that.
I
James,
mapped it.
Hey, Amy,
it is.
how about
At,
this?
it is. I was
Let me
going to say
tempt you.
James is.
I will give you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
James, it's at 12450 Eagle Point Drive, Baytown, Texas 77523.
There you go.
Baytown.
there you go. There you go.
Baytown.
So,
Baytown.
It says Baytown. It's
Right.
actually
It says
Mont Bellevue,
Baytown.
but they're all
Okay,
kind of like,
okay,
they're all
okay,
kind of,
gotcha.
they're
Okay,
both
so
like-
Amy, I will give you a free Eastern Rim shirt.
Hey, where's mine?
Oh, you're gonna get one, of course. Y'all two are gonna get one. Don't worry. I have
He's trying
Amy
to
was gonna
make
get
me
one
correct.
also, but I just have to offer it to her so it's more bait on the hook.
I
Amy, he
was
will also
DJ,
let you stay
only an hour
overnight
and
at his
58
place
minutes. You
as,
man, I mean,
special guest.
think of it. Think of it this
way.
way, okay? For Galveston, it's 3 hours for me, and I'm going, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little hesitant to go that 3 hours. I mean, I'm a little. I don't like driving. I don't know. I don't like it. But this hour and 50, I'm like, hey, I can do that. That's doable. All right. Like,
Amy,
you know, it's
just
lot
a
better.
brief warning when you go out to the esports thing, and the U.S. Army is going to be there with their big video gaming thing. When
Uh-huh.
you sit in the chair and you they ask you to click
Oh.
to agree to play this game or whatever, don't do it because you're actually registering to join the Army. So I'm just putting that out there.
I don't know if they can handle me. You know, I think they would give me back. I think
We
they'd be
already
like,
have-
"Oh,
I
take
would-
her."
I
Take
would
her
pay
back.
to watch the movie of that.
Amy, they're gonna put you in
They can get me
special
back.
forces. They're gonna be like, all right, release the Amy.
Yes.
It's going
Oh,
to be.
I love
It's going to
that.
be a new version of Stripes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Instead of unleashing the
Right.
Kraken, we'll unleash Amy and her children.
Barbarella, no, he
Right.
doesn't really have to bribe me. I'm gonna go. He just feels he needs to bribe me, Barbarella. I'm gonna go. I don't need bribery involved.
you actually have a name meant like for the Army because your name is actually Aim E. So like very nice, yeah.
You know,
Totally,
they could just use my gamer tag, and then it would be great.
What's your
But-
gamer tag?
Oh no, we're not sharing that. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
gotcha.
Greg
Oh,
knows.
my
Greg
I
knows.
She
know
has
it.
secrets.
Story tens of people who watch this show. You'll never see Amy's gamer tag. Like,
Yeah.
No, let's say.
and
Let's
like, I love
hunt
that she
me
teased
down.
that and is like not giving us the payoff. Like,
Yeah,
No,
like
Greg's
those,
the,
like
Greg's
something
the
like
only one that figured it out. Greg was the only one that
It-
figured it out.
was it like
so
Hot
I
Mess
don't-
1, 2, 3?
Hot Mess Express.
No, I've had it since I was 14 when I used to.
oh my God, is
game
it Justin Bieber
fucking
forever?
stuff. Hell no. Was he even around when I was 14?
No, it was probably like the In Sync or something, right?
None
Yeah.
of us know how old you actually are.
The
Amy. We just
Backstreet
assume that
Boys.
you're way younger than us because you're still having
I
babies.
am. Oh well, I turned 29 this year, so yeah.
All
But-
right.
Everyone.
So you are way younger than all of us.
You were correct. Yes.
Yes, she is.
We are going to have to head out here. The Con Hour will be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and we'll be talking about our past shows and our upcoming weekend at Galveston Island Esports event.
I'm sure they'll be talking about this show for minutes.
I'm sure they will.
Thank you
Anyway,
guys for coming on, though. And
Thank
sharing
y'all for
about
It's our
coming
your-
on.
pleasure. Thank you for having us.
and
Yeah.
everyone have a great rest of the weekend.